What is up, everybody? This is the plug podcast, music and more with Bushy and Metal Mike. I am Bushy. That is Metal Mike. But who is this over here? Who is
Dude,
Metal Mike?
um, this is a guy who, as I said off mic, he's a dude that like he can't go to the airport or places like that because he's so fucking metal that he sets off all the metal detectors. The man, the myth, the legend, finally on the Plug Podcast. Kevin fucking Warhaft, how you doing, brother? Good to have you, man. It's long
I'm doing
overdue.
great, guys. How are you?
Doing good, man. We're stoked to have you. We're stoked to have you, man. This is awesome. Been looking forward to this for a long time. We love you, Kev. So
Yeah,
just want to throw that out there and get that out of the way, man.
yes, sir. We are super excited. Kevin was one of the guys that came in. When Bushy was doing his show on that metal station, and Bushy's show was not like everybody else's show. Everybody else was doing like metal, and Bushy was doing like metal. you know, I was doing the glam and hard rock thing, and man, Kevin was there every fucking week. If he could only be there for 10 minutes, if he could be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, he was there every week. Thank you so much for coming on, Kevin. And here's the cool thing, brother, we're going to learn about all things that are the man, all things that are the myth, and everything that is the legend that is Kevin Warhaft. Because this motherfucker, he's got his foot in the asshole of the metal scene. He is
He
friends
has his
with,
fingers on the pulse of metal.
I'm telling you, he's friends with everybody, whether it's death metal, whether it's thrash metal, whether it's fucking, hard rock, classic metal. He is there, man. Kevin, welcome to the show, my brother.
You're welcome. So ask me whatever you want. Do whatever you want to do.
All right, man. Do you want to go first, Bush, or shall I?
Yeah. Let's go. I I I feel it's only fair to people that aren't aware of you, Kevin, that we explain why we all love you so much. You should not be alive. You you you're a walking medical miracle. Will you please explain that to our listeners? And that will dictate the rest of the show.
Well, I was born with a disability called Williams syndrome. At a very young age, at 13, I had to go through heart surgery because of that. Nobody here in Miami knew what heart surgery was. Nobody could do it. So I had to travel to Birmingham, Alabama, and that's where I had it done. And March 13, 1985 is when I had the operation, and I've been around ever since. I've been able to survive this a very, very long time. Um, if you don't know what Williams syndrome is, you could look it up on the internet. Um, I see all kinds of people at the mall that I work at that are kind of like that, but they have stuff like autism or some other disability, and I respect that. But you know, not many people know that I have this disability, and I've been able to survive with it for this very long.
Well, survive. I think you've thrived, bro. You've overcome it. I mean, in my opinion, anyway, for what it's worth. But I mean, and as far as like, my twin brother, Marky, man, he's autistic. So, yeah, it's a hurdle he's had to climb over. But you know how he got there, don't you? With the help of metal, just like
Mhm.
you, dude. And just like you, I think all of us here, and I don't want to get too much in the vortex, but obviously, so you had Williams uh, disease or syndrome?
Syndrome.
Syndrome. Um, so you get all that. When were you born, Kevin? What year?
May 26, 1972.
Oh, okay. So you're close to my age. All right, man. All right. All right. I was born in 70, dude. So obviously you were a child of the 70s. So where I'm getting at with this is obviously I'm going to assume that your gateway band was what Bushy's wearing on right now that he's, I mean, I've got a band that's awesome too. It's not Kiss, but we all love our Slayer.
Yes, yes.
So how did you get introduced to Kiss? Like, were they your gateway band, Kevin, or was it somebody else?
Um, there was a local radio station called WSHE. Um, and they once had a kiss-off contest where people would, I obviously, you know, do a kiss, but they had to do it for many hours and not stop kissing. Well, I heard Rock and Roll All Night on that radio station, and that's what got me, hooked on that. I saw what Kiss looked like, and I was like, wow, these guys are very, very cool. And so I, look up to them with my life. You have to have heroes besides your parents and whoever you live with, because I could have went to jail. I could have died. I could have done something bad to myself if I never had any heroes to look up to. And that was the only way for me to have a good life.
Because you do drum, right? You are a drummer. So Peter Chris is like I think out of all of them, he's your favorite. Am I right about that?
Yes, Peter Chris is my drum idol. When you listen to 100,000 Years on Kiss Alive,
Oh my
uh,
yes.
nobody can drum like that. I mean, I've tried that drum solo so many times. It's so hard to go faster, but Peter, Chris, without him, I would not have, been a drummer, and I also sing too.
Oh,
Um,
awesome, dude. Cool. All right,
so
man. So growing up, you grew up obviously in the Miami area. Uh, how did you meet people like I mean, like okay, you and Ralph, Dr. Fuck of Thrash or Die.
I
How did
totally
that
want
connection
to
happen?
know the Dr. Fuck connections. I know you did radio. You worked with Dr. Fuck on a radio station. You guys did a show or a thing there that later went into his radio show on TMS. How the hell did you meet up with this crazy guy who had nothing to do with metal until 2010 or so, where he decided, hey, I could be a thrash singer? How did Kevin Warhaft hook up with this guy and then hook up with everybody else? That's an amazing story.
well, I met him at a show once. And I was doing radio at the time at WVUM 90.5 FM, University of Miami. What I would do is call into the station and tell my part of metal news and what's going on in the music industry with that. Sometimes I would go to the radio station, hang out there, and do my show there too. And yeah, I met Ralph at a show, and that's how it all began from there. Then we hung out at the radio station, and then, there's a lot of other things that we did together. So Ralph is a very cool guy.
Yes, he is. Dr. Fuck rules. We love Dr.
We
Fuck, man.
love that guy. What show were you at when you met up with Dr. Fuck? And what was his reaction to you? I mean, how did that interaction go? Because Rouse never talked about it publicly that I know of, and I've never heard your story. I mean, what show were you at? How did that happen?
Well, there were a couple of old clubs in Fort Lauderdale at the time. Not just the Culture Room, but like Summers on the Beach, the Bun South, um, and some other places. And I kind of met, I think, Ralph at a like a death metal show or something. I can't remember the bands, but that's where I met him, and that's how,
Were they
you
local
know.
bands, Kev? Were they local?
No,
Were
they
they?
were
Oh,
like major acts, in the early days.
right on,
Um, I mean, if you ask Ralph, he could tell you what show it was.
right on, man. Okay, that's awesome, man. So, how did you get to meet all these other musicians? Like, I know you were friends with Chuck from Death. I know you know the Obituary guys and a lot of them death metal. How'd you make those connections? Like just going to shows and being radio is that how it went down?
Uh, well, it took my radio show at University of Miami to, make them see that I was somebody, um, not a name in the frying pan. As I was saying, nobody should ever be that. You should do what you have to do to be you and make a name for yourself. So when I got to the shows, all these, bands, they found out who I was and wanted to hang out with me and wanted to know what I was about. And I got to like hang out with them backstage or in the tour bus or, whatever, and we talked for a while. It was, very, very cool. And
Now hold on, Kevin. You're getting onto the tour bus, right? Okay, because we got to make this clear because this is something Metal Mike would do. You weren't sucking dick, right?
no,
The fuck, dude? Why do you always got to put me in these homoerotic scenarios? You're as bad as my radio co-host, Bildo. Always put me in like these gay situations. Look, I know I'm fucking hot, Bushy, but god damn, dude.
Just saying, I want everyone to know that Kevin is straight and straight metal.
So am I. Last time I checked.
Yeah, ish. I'm sorry,
Says
Kevin.
the guy who has The Elder as his number two Kiss album. Get the
Yes.
fuck out of here. And Crazy Nights in his top five. Kevin, you believe that shit?
Hey, so does Sinzak. You better calm down.
Yeah, Sinzak don't like The Elder though.
I know
well,
he needs to be taught.
I could, just say you like whatever you like. That's what it's
Fair
about.
enough, Kevin. Fair enough. So about Kiss, like if you were to rank your top five, what what are your top five Kiss albums, dude? It doesn't have to be any particular order, but what are your top five?
Well, I would have to go um, with, the albums that Peter, Chris, and Ace really were on. Um, the first album, the second album, the third album, then Alive.
Alive is the best in my opinion, but I love the first three for sure.
Then Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun,
Alive
um,
two.
Alive 2, stuff like that. That's what really makes me very happy to listen to. You know, when I'm all alone, it feels good.
Right on, man. Well, I know some of your favorite bands, like 1349. I play them for you from time to time on the Metal Mike Show. And that's one thing I do want to say before we go any further, Kevin. I've said it before, but I want you to know it means the world to me that not only were you a regular on the Metal Mike Show in the chat room, and that's when I was at TMS, but when I transferred to Cranium, you still come to see me. You still, hang out with us. And I just want you to know, man, it means the world to me, dude. Because, if you hadn't have, I wouldn't have gotten, I would have understood, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Cause I know TMS is awfully important to you, man. But, so I just want you to know, dude, that means the world to me that You every Friday he's there, Bush. Every fucking Friday, man. It's awesome.
Oh,
And
he's still there with you at Cranium?
yeah, he comes into the chat room every Friday, dude.
Kevin,
Yeah.
you're the man. You're the man,
Yeah,
man.
he is the man. He's the man, the myth, and the legend.
This
So
guy supports metal more than anybody I know.
yeah,
And I don't know a lot of people, but you're there, you're in the pit, dude. You're in it, whether it's death metal, thrash metal, and you're in, Miami. I mean, that's the death metal scene. Talk to us about what is it, NYDM and FLDM? Because I know a little bit, but not a lot. I know Scott Green tried talking to me about joining this organization. I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, dude, I live in an area where uh, we don't have shows that sponsor this kind of metal. Oddly enough, Kevin, I listen to a lot of that kind of metal now. I listen to a lot of death metal and aggressive vocal metal because I listen to a lot of liquid metal now on Sirius XM. So I'm constantly hitting Metal Mike up for shit that he's like, what, really? Bushy wants to hear this?
yeah.
How did all that come about, and what exactly is the NYDM?
Well, it all started when I saw Mortician Will Rammer at a show that he played at. He was wearing this vest with all these patches on it, and I saw something that said NYDM, and that kind of interested me. I was like, wow, what is this about? And then like I discovered NYDM group on Yahoo groups at the time. And then in 2013, the FLDM came together. We're one of the chapters in the NYDM. The NYDM is called the New York Death Militia. And we have chapters all over the world. We do all kinds of things like annuals. If somebody needs something,
Like charitable events.
yeah, we do that. And we have meetings and stuff like that. But we're worldwide, and it's up to you to find out what it really is about, and if you're into joining this sort of thing, because I wear my vest at every show that I go to, and a lot of people see those patches and they're like, wow, cool, what is that? And I tell them, but it's all over the world. You just have to find out for yourself.
Right on, man. All right. That's awesome though, dude. So I know you were friends with Chuck from Death. How close were you guys, man? I mean, how long did you know Chuck? Were you friends with him before Death became a band or a thing, or was that um or was it after he had started recording those albums and touring?
Well, I did know of Chuck and his band Mantis,
Oh,
and
okay.
um, when he was with Death, but I didn't get to meet him until the Human album. Um, I heard about him. I tried to go see him live also, but I met him during the Human album, touring practice sessions at the Cynic Warehouse. Cynic is still a band, but not with the original members. Paul is the only one. Paul Masvidal is the only one in the band that's the original member.
Right, right.
So I met him there at the Cynic Warehouse. At the time, he didn't have any signs of cancer or anything.
Right.
This was before, his albums with his different voice,
Mhm.
like Crystal Mountain and all that.
Right, right.
Um, and so he was just a very nice guy, and I miss him
Yeah.
very, very much. Also, Sean Reinert, who died also. I mean, there are tons of people that Chuck had in his band, but Chuck was a very serious person. Um, and he was, looking for a lineup that would, sit together, but there were problems in each lineup,
Yeah.
like,
Well, I know I will say this, man. I loved his music, and what an amazing guitar player. I mean, the guy could just shred, man. He was awesome. Um, yeah. Rest in peace, Chuck. That's all I'm going to say about that one, man. It sucks that we lost him. We've lost a lot of great metal artists over the years, though. I mean, um, so yeah, that one. I remember when he got sick, I was kind of shocked because I didn't even know he was sick. So when I found out he was dead, it was like, what? Kind of kind of took me by surprise because I hadn't even heard he was sick. I didn't even know. Living up here, we didn't know anything about it. So, it was like kind of shocking to me.
well, I mean, he did have, certain people tried to pay for, his medical bills,
Yeah.
like certain celebrities in music, like
Mhm.
Kid Rock and all that. Um,
I'm so
you
glad
know,
your Kid Rock tried to help out because he gets a lot of shit because of political beliefs. And I think that's garbage. Politics needs to be put aside and let the music do the talking. And when everything comes down to it, this man stepped up and tried to help out. That is badass.
so yeah, I miss Chuck a lot. And also, um, so that's all I gotta say about Chuck.
Right on, man. Right on, dude. All right. So,
Kevin, is there anybody that like maybe in the Miami scene or just maybe worldwide, one of these more underground type bands that you think should have got a should have had a better shot, somebody that you saw in a club maybe because God, you guys see all the the club bands and somebody that like, man, these guys should have been bigger.
Well, the thing with 1349 is they're from Norway, um, and they're good friends of mine. But it takes a lot of time for people to get used to them, I would say. They have 8 albums out now. Um, but when you meet them, they're very cool, normal people. But when they get on stage, it's a very different feeling. It's a very, very harsh, mean, you know, feeling.
well, it's black metal, man. They're black
But
metal. They're pretty extreme. I dig them though, man. I like them. And you were always like mentioning them, so I was like, "You want me to play some 1349 for you?" And Kevin was like, "Hell yeah!" So, in fact, I'll play some for you this Friday, brother.
I gotta say this much, and this is the only reason I understand what Kevin's talking about. Uh, I was friends with Ralph and following his podcast and following his radio show for I don't know a couple of years, and they came to New York to do a show in Queens, man, and you look, I bought tickets and I drove 6.5 hours south because yes, that's how far north I'm from, motherfuckers. I drove 6.5 hours south just to see the mighty Thrasher die. And look, I've talked to Ralph a million times. It wasn't a million at that point, but I had talked to him. I had guested on Rock and Metal Combat podcast. He had sent out happy birthday shout outs to my fucking daughter. He called her up, made her cry. I have it on.
I remember that. I remember that, man.
The point is, we get to Queens, and there's a diner right next to the fucking club they're playing, because it's a club show. I can't take my daughter in. She hates me forever because she never got to see Thrasher die. But I'm hanging out with Ralph, man. We're in this fucking club, and I can't remember the name of the club. I'm sorry, Dr. Fuck. I was there, though, motherfucker. I drove 6.5 hours to see you. But we're hanging out. We're having a good time. And then Thrasher Die takes the stage. And, okay, Metal Mike, I was wrong. I geeked out at Tiffany. But I geeked out at fucking Thrasher Die. I geeked out to see Ralph Vieira, aka Dr. Fuck on.
It's ironic because you always talk about how you envy me because I seen this show or that show. Or dude, you got to see Thrasher die. I've never got to see him.
I lost my shit, dude, because and I was right up front. Like, he put the microphone down, so I was screaming the fucking lyrics back. It was so weird because, like, Kevin, Dr. Fuck is Ralph Vieira. He's just Ralph. I worked with him on the radio. We hang out. We're drinking beers, whatever. I was that guy. But then I saw him on stage, and he was a completely different person. It's so cool that you meet these bands, because people have to understand, yeah, these bands are great. I mean, they're metal, they're death. I kill babies and rape chickens, But you meet them off stage, and they're just fucking people. They're just doing the fucking thing, dude. That's so cool. And Kevin, you're the kind of guy that'll be crowd surfed all around. You're like known in the Miami death metal scene. That's fucking cool, because look, if I went to Miami and went to a death metal show, nobody's going to fucking know Bushy. Maybe one person because they heard a show years ago. Nobody's going to know that. But my man, Kevin Warhaft, the man, the myth, the legend. If I walk in with you, I'm going to be the guy that was standing next to the man, the myth, the legend. That is badass. And I'm sorry, my girlfriend was here earlier. We've been drinking a lot tonight. The fact that you said you've got to put yourself out there, you got to just push. And dude, that's fucking pimp, because that's what we try to do as a podcast. And we have like 3 or 4 listeners, but you, my man, you are known by musicians worldwide. That is.
And other metal fans. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean? Like Kevin's, like I said, one of the things I think is cool, like just speaking is somebody like, because the reason why I even knew about Kevin was because of Ralph, obviously, his radio show, him having him on. Before that, because my introduction to Ralph was the Thrasher Die videos.
And I still have my t-shirt, Kevin. I was Kevin Warhaft's fan of the fucking week.
That's awesome.
I still have my shirt.
Well, you should have been wearing that shirt, motherfucker.
I know, right? What's this Kiss fucking faggy shit? Sorry, Gene. Sorry, Paul. Real sorry, Peter Ace. But yeah, sorry, Gene. Sorry, Paul.
It's okay.
Now, what I was going to say, though, is because, I found out about Ralph because of Thrasher Die. One day I was bored looking for new thrash bands. Thrasher Die. Oh, okay. Clicked on it. Saw Wake Up to Smell the Thrash. Loved it. Not only did it fucking rock, but it was funny. It kind of reminded me of
dude, when he
I think I always loved about Thrasher Die is they didn't always take themselves so seriously, kind of like the way old Anthrax was, or Nuclear Assault, more like that, where they would sing about crazy stuff, SOD, and that's what I liked about him. And then I saw this video where it had him pointing the camera saying, "I told you Kiss wasn't going to perform through Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." I was like, is that the Thrasher Die guy? I click on it. start watching those videos. And even at the time thought, man, this guy is so fucking cool. Like he reminded me of my older brother, Scapegoat, my big brother. You know, they're about close to the same age. I think Ralph's like maybe a year or two older than Dave. And I was just like, man, I could sit and have a beer with this guy or talk. You know what I mean? He just seemed like a cool dude. I always thought, man, it'd be cool if I could meet that guy someday, man. And then not only did I get to meet him, but one of the other things that blew me away is because I was such a big supporter of his music and everything and got to know him even before we met in person. And I still want to meet you, Kevin. That's going to happen one of these days.
To meet the man, the myth, the fucking
Fuck yeah, man. My life will be complete after that. But
look, fuck Metal Mike for a second. I'm going to talk to you personally. I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale on I think it's October 26th. I'm going to be there because I'm going on a cruise with my woman. We won't talk about the country ass fucking hillbilly kind of cruise it is. But look, the one who sucks your dick is the one you want to make happy. So I'm going on this country ass fucking Western fucking cruise. Dude, I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale. I think it's October 26th. It's the last Sunday in October. And then I'll be back in that bitch the first Sunday in November. If there's any way we can meet up, I've already told Dr. Fuck that I'm going to be there. If there's any way we can meet up, I would love to make that happen, dude. I would love to make that happen.
Okay. Well, that's very cool. I would like it to happen. Let's see what we could do about that.
Yes.
So ask me some other questions.
Look, he just blew me off like I'm a butterfly on a fucking flower. Like big you.
anyway, you got anything, Bushy, or you want me to ask him something?
Go ahead, because I'm still trying to grasp being rejected by the man, the myth, the legend.
He didn't reject you, dude. He just said, you know, he's just business, dude. This is business. Like hey, stay on task. He's just telling you to stay on task. Don't go on, right. Instead of going to the Kiss vortex and the Metallica vortex, we're going to go to the Kevin fucking Warhaft vortex, man.
Well, let's do that. What do you got?
All right. So Kevin, man, besides 1349, what other bands are you really, really into as far as newer metal bands? Like, could you give the listeners some recommendations of some really just badass metal that they need to fucking check out, man?
Okay. Well, there's a good local band called MRSA. They're a horror band. And they're
MRSA,
from
like MRSA?
Yeah. They're from Fort Lauderdale.
Wheelhouse, brother.
That's why I smiled. Go ahead, Kevin.
And they're very good. They talk about all kinds of horror songs, like Jason Voorhees, even Chucky, and some other things. They're very good. Mithraeum from San Diego, California, good black metal. Fathom is another good local band down here, and Fort Lauderdale, really good. We have all kinds of bands. Still Malevolent Creation. All types of bands from Florida.
Yeah, you guys got quite a scene down there, man. That's all right. Awesome, dude. Awesome. So you heard that, motherfuckers. Check that shit out. Check it out, because Kevin, the man, the myth, and the legend Warhaft fucking told you to.
Hell yeah. I have a question. There's a band that I love, and they've had a couple record deals with independent labels, indie labels. And man, I don't think they get enough recognition for how brilliant they are. They're a horror, goth, glam, rock, metal band. And man, maybe it's because they don't get good enough production or such. But have you ever heard of 13 Pagan Holiday 13? I used to play, you know, man, Long Shadows Fall on the Big Bushy Power Hour. Have you ever checked out that band?
No, but you can contact me about it and send me some information.
Hell yeah, I'll have to send you that stuff because they're a band that they're influenced by Kiss, Alice Cooper, Wasp, and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, things like that. They're strictly a horror goth metal band, but man, they're so fucking good. I've
What
actually
are they called again? 13 Pagan Holiday?
13 Pagan Holiday 13. They were Pagan Holiday for years, but apparently there's another Pagan Holiday out there. So they just threw a 13 on the front, a 13 on the back.
Okay.
Big King Diamond fans, big Merciful
Wow.
fans.
Dude, Merciful Fate and King Diamond fucking rule.
Yeah.
It's music to my ears right there.
I, yes, I would tell you to check out the track Murder of Crows.
Oh, okay.
And I'm here to tell you, most people don't know what that means, but a group of crows is called a murder, and it's an amazing song. I, I think they suffer from not having good production, but they're a band that really needs to be recognized. They've been around since 19 fucking 89, dude.
Damn, dude.
I went to high school with this bass player, Mike Hill, Von Pagan. Check them out. They're fun.
Cool, man.
They're a good band. Kevin,
Right on, dude.
damn. Who
All
else?
right, I'll check it out.
Who else do you know, man? Because man, you're in there. You're in the scene. When you're working at the mall, and I love that. It can't be as cool as it would have been in the 80s. And I'm just guessing because the mall in the 80s was the best.
Well, the malls in the 80s were the mecca of whatever town you lived in, man.
Yes. So you're working the mall, and I'm not trying to fucking shit on this. Dude, do people walk up and be like, hey, that's fucking the man, the myth, the legend. That's Kevin Warhaft. How does that go?
Well, there's a lot of people that come to the mall, and when they see me, it's kind of like a fanfare thing, you know. They want a picture with me or they want an autograph, and I do that, and I talk with them. My fans are very, very nice people, you know. Um, but you see, to me, being famous, that's different now. I just want to go out there and earn what I get, not be too, greedy about it anymore. I mean, I earned my place in that, and so I'm very, happy. So I just want to go out and earn everything that I get now.
Well, I mean, Kevin, how long have you worked at the mall, bro?
34 years.
I know you've been there for a minute, man. You've been there for a while. I mean, dude, like that's what I think's cool about you, man. It's like the life you lead and what you do, and the fact that you live life to the fullest. You enjoy life, every minute of it. I mean, that's something that I think we all aspire to, brother. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're living life and you're loving life, and I can even see it in your pictures, man. Especially when you get when all them hot chicks are taking photos of you and stuff. You'll be taking pictures of all those hot chicks at the mall and stuff. I'm like, that's badass, dude. That's awesome.
Well, I give everybody what they want if they need it. If they want, a photo or an autograph, I'll do it. That's the way it is. Being a celebrity, it's very cool, but I'm not very greedy like I was before.
Now you said
Um,
you were greedy. In what way were you greedy, if you don't mind my asking, dude?
I was greedy because back then I was only caring about myself. I wasn't, caring caring what, you know, other people thought until one day I said, "Oh wow, these people love me. I should change my ways and try to be respectful and try to understand what it is really that they want from me and try to be better than I was before."
Right on, dude.
Dude, that's
Well,
so awesome. But look, I'm sorry, Metal Mike. I gotta
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
um I'm gonna Dr. Fuck you for a second, Kevin. Um, big titties or little titties?
I go I go big titties all the way.
Yes. I remember that bit you did on that metal station in Kevin's corner.
Well, I loved it when when Ralph would always go, Kevin, before he'd ask him a question, man. Hilarious, man. Because I mean, really, man, everybody just wants good advice, Kevin. You give such good advice, so it's like it's only natural, that people would come to you for advice and help on things, man.
Yeah,
Well, what I gotta say is you have to do, you know, you do what you have to do to be you. Nobody else can change you except you. And when you're working in a job, you should not make it your prisoner. You should try to have some fun and understand, where you're at that time and try to have a good day. If something gets in your way, don't worry about it. Take care of it, get rid of it, and just be who you are for you. And the same thing, goes for me and for everyone. Try to have a good time. Don't make your job your prisoner. Just do what you have to do to be you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of know what you're saying because, like, I joke around and cut up at work all the time because it cuts the tension. And I mean, fuck it. We're all there together. You may as well have fun while you're doing it, and not take everything so seriously all the time. Because, and especially in the field I'm in, man, it can be pretty stressful. So to me, I'm always cutting up, joking around, and doing silly stuff to keep the mood light, and the patients like it too. So, I mean, laughter is the best medicine in the world. So, hell yeah, Kevin.
yeah, this is the greatest advice that's ever been given on our show because a lot of times when me and Metal Mike talk, we're bitching about, oh man, we had to deal with this, we had to deal with this, we had to deal with this, we had to deal with that, man. Fuck this, fuck her, fuck them. Man, I tell you what, Kevin. Look, I'm gonna be honest right here on the Plug Podcast for the first time. I've been dealing with shit for a little over a month. Metal Mike knows because he's my boy. I don't fucking hold things out. I lost my job a month ago, dude. It I'm still convinced it's fucking bullshit, but
Because
you
it
know,
is.
I like to smoke a little Delta 8. I don't smoke weed because I don't like kids, and I'm definitely not going to go find a 14-year-old kid to get fucking pot from. But I was smoking a little Delta 8, and some assholes were smoking dope at work on the night shift, and my executive director decided that she was going to start testing everybody instead of just testing them motherfuckers. Well, she came to me and said, please tell me, because I'm a valuable motherfucker. She said, please tell me you could pass this. And I was very honest. I said, I don't know that I can. I'm not an everyday smoker. I don't do this thing all the time. But I knew it had been in the last couple weeks. And I know that Delta 8 will show up as THC, as marijuana in your bloodstream. So I said, I don't know that I could pass this. She didn't make me piss in the cup, but she fired me anyway. And for the last month, man, I've been stressed. I went to Rockin' Pod with Metal Mike, and I lived off my girlfriend who was just here and had his here drunk ass home because I had the money that I had from my last paycheck and her paycheck, and we had an absolute blast. But I just got hired into a job today that was the job that I was at just before I fucking went to this place to do what I love. Now, is my passion nursing? Yes. But listen here. There's a management position that I know is going to be open because I've already seen what that manager is. I'm making the exact same money going into this job as I was making at that job. If you want me, come talk to me when the management position opens. Kevin, I think it's so great that you have this attitude of fuck it, let's have a great day. Because I was angry, I was depressed. My house looks like shit. My little studio here, other than this over here, because my girlfriend brought her food over. Dude, I make sure my studio looks good. The rest of my house, man, I have been so depressed. I love that you, but then again, motherfucker, you've been at your job for 32 years. So God love you for that.
34, I thought.
34, yeah,
34.
Either way, man, that's fucking awesome because I keep switching jobs. It's like I need to run my own business, but I don't have a business model. How is it that I know you say, have a great day. I know you say that, but you work with the public, my brother. And dude, I'm from New York. You're from fucking Miami, Florida. So, I mean, polar opposites. But I'm a guy that wants to punch a motherfucker in the mouth. How do you shut up, Mike? How do you just get through your day? Because there's got to be assholes out there, man. There's got to be assholes. I refuse to believe that people aren't assholes to you. I want their names. I want their numbers. I want their addresses. I will go fuck them up for you, sir.
Well, all I can say is I just do what I can to be happy. Whatever is in my way, I try to deal with it best as I can. And I try to get rid of it fast as I can if it's a problem. But I have a lot of protection. I don't have to worry about much. I just go do my job. But if I really do need protection, I know where to call. I know where to find it. It's that easy.
Now, are we talking about, because Kevin, and that's the reason I wanted you to explain to us your health issues from the very beginning, because people may have been watching this and thinking, oh man, he's talking slow, blah 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 blah, and not wanting to know the real Kevin. Do you, man, and I hate these kinds of fucking people. And look, I'm a conservative, you assholes, and this is wrong. Do you have people that will just judge you just because maybe you're a little slow to speak? Maybe you have to think about what you're going to say. Because, oh, man, you're such a good guy. Do they not take the time to get to know you? Do you have to deal with that? And if so, how do you deal with that? That's really important to me. How do you deal with that? Because that's such bullshit.
Well, I can tell you that nobody really judges me. You know,
That's
I I just do what I can to be me. I'm not gonna judge anybody in any way that they expect me to. I'm just gonna let them be themselves. You know, um, we all have people in this world that think differently than we do, and we all have to deal with that every day. But if you can be at least, happy once or twice during the week, then you have something to believe in. You have yourself to believe in. Nobody can change you for you. You have to change yourself. Okay? That's the way it is.
Man, I love this guy. He
Fucking right, man.
just quoted some Poison lyrics, something to believe in. I mean, he didn't quote them exactly, but that's what he's saying.
Well, look, man.
Hold on, Kevin. What do you think of Poison?
Poison.
Give it to me, Kevin. I can take it.
Well, Poison, I've seen with Kiss a lot of times, and they put on a good show. Yes, I know their songs. Look what the cat dragged in, and stuff like that. I've seen them
You
with
did
Def
notice him
Leppard.
laughing as he's telling you this.
I don't care. He enjoyed it.
All right. Whatever helps you sleep at night, Bushy.
I mean, but I know Brett Michaels has a problem. He's a diabetic. I understand that. And he has to do what he can to survive. And
That's true.
I've seen Poison a lot of times, but I respect every band for what they are, even if I don't like them.
Oh, I love that so much. First of all, I'm fucking jealous because I've never seen Poison. I've never seen Brett Michaels.
Yeah, my condolences, Kevin, that you've had to see him that many times.
Hey, you shut your fucking whore mouth.
Oh, fuck.
But I'm here to say I love that it's not your thing, but you enjoyed them when you saw them. They did what they do, and man,
Hey,
that's fucking cool.
how many times did I tell you that? Even, and you know how I feel about him. I'm not a fan at all, but
Yes.
in that documentary, because let's be honest with you, a lot of Poison's contemporaries, they were trying to change their sound. They were trying to be with the times, and the drummer, Ricky Rocket, is that his name?
Yeah.
He just said, I couldn't make a record like that. It would be disingenuous for me to do it. And I had to say, I found a lot of newfound respect for those guys. And even the dude who was doing the documentary, he's not a glam metal guy at all. I think he likes some of the early stuff, but he goes, hey, say what you want about Poison, but they had a vision.
Yes.
And they did it, and they stuck to it, and they stuck, and hey, man, they made it. I mean, good for them. Look, I'm not a Poison fan, but other people are. I mean, it's just like Brian Slagle said. He has friends where Poison was their gateway band. Hey, I mean, that's okay. Like I bust your chops, Bushy, but I don't hate Poison. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not, they're all, I mean, they are what they are to me, but that's my fucking opinion. It's not like it's the end of, like, I mean, you're talking about a band that sold a lot of fucking records, and I mean, some people still love them to this day, so they had to be doing something right. And the girls sure liked them. That's for damn sure. So,
Well, that kind of leads me to my next question. Kevin, the man, the myth, the legend, or
Yes, Bushy.
if you had the option of going to a brutal death metal show where it's going to be like sausage fest everywhere, or going to a glam type show. I'm not going to say Poison because it's fucking 2025. It's not going to be Poison unless it's Poison these days. If you had an option of going to one of these two shows, look, I like rubbing up on fucking nice booties that are like not dudes. What would you would you consider going to that glam rock show to go somewhere where maybe the girls are there, or are you so I got to go to the death metal show? I mean, it's not your preference. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's not your preference. But on one night, if these two bands were playing, which one would you do? Because I'd be rubbing up on the ass. I'm just saying.
Well, for me, if I did not like the bands that were playing in the death metal show, depends on who it is, I would go to the glam show.
But you like glam rock, right? You like glam metal?
Yes, some of it. I grew up with some local bands around here that were that way. Tough Luck and Vandal were two glam local bands, and they were really good at what they did down here.
Right on, dude.
Now, back in the 80s, were did you dig the glam scene? Because you're a Kiss fan, and I'm sorry, glam. Come on.
Well, yeah,
I
the
mean,
fathers of glam metal in a lot of ways.
for real, yeah.
I mean, they really are. I mean,
Other than Van Halen, I'll give you that. But when you got into Kiss back in the late 70s, early 80s, whenever it was it this is all I'm listening to? Or were you listening to that a lot and then, oh, this heavy aggressive thing came in and you didn't know? Because I find that it's that way for most of us. I was into AC/DC and Kiss, and Creed's Clearwater and Pink Floyd and Sabbath, and then Metallica, then Megadeth, and it's like, how did all that come about? How did your love transform? Because you're in the NYDM, you're in the FLDM, you're in the New York Death Militia, the Florida Death Militia, and that's very in your face. Are you allowed to go to those other shows, or are you going to catch a lot of shit?
of course he's allowed. He's fucking Kevin Warhaft. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, dude.
I tell him to fuck right off. I'll go see a glam metal band and a death metal band.
And I want to push back on something. You said Sausage Fest, dude. That may have been the case once upon a time, but I'm telling you right now, dude, a lot of the shows I've been going to lately, and we're talking some pretty heavy bands, there's plenty of hot chicks there too. It ain't
Wait,
just, dude.
you were hanging out at Sausage Fest? Is that what you just said?
I didn't say that. No, you said that. You called them Sausage Fest. What I'm saying is a lot of these bands nowadays attract the female audience, you fucker.
Kevin, can you answer the question minus Mike's obviously love for Sausage Fest?
Yeah, he caught me. That was what I was saying.
Sorry about that. Well, yeah, it all started with the original rock bands and glam, and then I started hearing a little bit more faster, and then I got more faster and more faster, and continuing faster, from bands like I've heard Anthrax, Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, Megadeth, Exodus, all kinds of bands, and I grew up with the rock scene, and started up from there all the way up to the top, and so I'm happy with what I've heard all of these years. If there was something that I didn't like, I would hope that they would do something a little bit more better than they did. And so I try to go with everything that I hear as much as I can every day, no matter who it is or where they're from. I enjoy music. Without music, we can't be somebody, we can't be someone. Uh, Music is a big part of our lives, and we have to live with that, and it lives with us. That's why we're here.
Well,
I
to
have a
interject, can I say something real
yeah,
quick, man?
go
Because
ahead.
kind of expand on what Kevin said. And it's the one thing I've noticed about it. And I'm not saying it isn't that way with other music, but with metalheads especially, like Brian Slagle, man. You heard me when I asked him, well, what else do you listen to? He goes, I pretty much listen to heavy metal and hard rock. And if I don't listen to the super newer, really, really ultra heavy stuff, I go back and listen to Deep Purple and the Scorpions. And I think there's something to that. Like, you may graduate to heavier bands, but you still don't stop loving the bands that you grew up on, all the bands that we grew up on, like you, Kevin, you listen to 1349, but you love Kiss, you know
Right.
so it's not that. And I think, and Bushy's that way. I mean, I got Bushy asking me about bands like Meshuggah and fucking Orbit Culture, but yet he still loves Poison. It's this, you know what I mean? I mean, you never totally let go of those old bands that you grew up on, man. But it is true. It's like, that's why, like with your girl, with that Lost Circus band we saw, Bushy, good gateway, because I do think, especially for people who aren't really into metal or don't know anything about it, you don't start playing 1349 for them right away. You don't go there. You play
You don't
something
hit him with
older,
fucking
more
John
older
Bob.
school, or more traditional, like your Black Sabbaths and your Zeppelins and your, you play something more traditional metal, you know, or even a newer band like Lost Circus or this band right here, Jane and the Killer Queens. Like, you give them a band like that, and then, because look at your girl, man, she's starting to get into hard rock and metal. And I'm telling you, that's where it starts. Give her a couple years, dude, she'll be fucking. It'll happen.
So,
God
um,
open.
so, um, I really do want to thank you guys for having me on your show.
Well, of course, Kevin.
And
It's been a long time coming, dude. Because I just felt bad because it's like I kept going, oh, I'm gonna have you on, Kevin. I'm gonna have you on, and then, yeah, I don't know, bro. All I can say is, as you know, there's been periods where we would go months without recording for anything or anybody. So
Yeah.
sometimes real life gets in the way, brother. But I just didn't want you thinking we had forgotten about you, because that is not the case. And we'd love to have you back on, man. Maybe we could do an Ask Kevin segment every once in a while. Have
And
the listeners, send in questions or something.
speaking of
yeah,
Ask Kevin, what is a band out there today that none of us fucking know about that we need to know about?
well, there's one band. It's called Protra Morte. They're from uh, some of the states here in the USA. My friend Jared Pritchard, who does recordings in Orlando, who has done, the latest Gruesome album, Pessimist, and a couple other bands. He's part of the band as the guitarist, but Potra Marte is a very good band. Um, you should check them out. I could send Bushy and Mike, all the info about that. They have a new song that will be out in a couple months, I believe. I even did background vocals on one of their songs.
Nice.
Um, I mean, I've done background vocals for Thrash or Die, Pocho Marte, and a couple of other bands. But this is a very good band, and you should all check it out.
And what kind of band is that? What genre of metal? I mean, is it death metal? I mean,
Well, if you know who Paradise Lost is, it's doom music. Um,
I- look, Metal Mike, I know who Paradise Lost is. Isn't that fucking cool?
Yeah.
uh, um, And their singer was in the band Skeleton Witch.
I
And
love Skeleton Witch, dude. Good stuff. That black, it's almost like blackened thrash metal.
Mhm.
You know, it's like a mixture of black metal and thrash. There's a few bands. There was a band in my area called Black Fast. Fucking amazing. They were black and thrash. And another really great black and thrash band that I want to give a shout out to is Repent. They used to call themselves the band Repent, but man, their album, which they've got, their one guitar player is left. Uh, you know, because he basically he's got a little girl and he wants to raise his little girl, and and you know, let's be honest, this life it's really hard. You know, I mean, I'm talking touring and being a musician, and if
Yeah.
you're gonna have a wife and kids, man, before you make it big, it's not even easy after, but it's definitely not easy um, with that. But yeah, as I said, they called themselves they changed their name just recently to the band. Well, it was the band Repent. Now it's just Repent. But check out 2023's The Reckoning, dude. Fucking killer. I think you guys would dig it, man.
What were you saying?
So I just want to say thank you, Bushy. Thank you, Mike, for allowing me to come on here. I will do it again for sure.
Thank you for coming, man. Like, thank you for being here. Thank you for, and thank you, dude, for all the support. Like I said, dude, it means the world to me, Kevin. And I don't want you thinking we take you lightly because we don't. I don't mean just me. And I'm not just speaking for me and Bushy, but I'm speaking for my co host of the Metal Mike Show. Like, it means the world to us, dude. I mean, we love you, man. Plain and fucking simple. You rule, dude.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. And I will be on again whenever you need me. So,
All right. Well, like I said, me and Bushy will talk, man. We're gonna maybe see if we can have like a segment or something, every once in a while where
yeah,
you come on and, you know,
we'll definitely figure something out. Kevin,
yeah.
you have been a big supporter of us on our radio endeavors. You've been a big supporter of us on this podcast. Uh, I I didn't mean to bring focus to your disability, but I wanted people to know it because the internet is assholes. It's full of fucking pricks. And I wanted people to know what they were dealing with. This is a guy that has lived a life. This is a guy that frankly should not have been here, but he fucking he defied the odds. He beat the odds. And this man is like he's known and loved in the metal scene, and not just in the Florida metal scene, in the metal scene. Bands come to town, they love this guy. There's a fucking reason. This guy, man, Kevin Warhaft is a good man. And if any of you fucks, look, I'm going to post this up on YouTube later. I don't know if it's going to be tonight or if it's going to be next week because we have another show we're recording this week, and I don't know how the order is going to go.
Yeah,
But
we're kind of stockpiling episodes right now.
if any of you motherfuckers dare talk shit about this guy, I want your address because I'm the kind of guy that'll come and smack you in the face because this man has lived it. This man is a good man, and this man is fucking metal to the core. I love you, Kevin. Thank you so much for coming on this show, man. You fucking rule.
thank you all. Thank you. And I want to say I'm a friend of everybody. No matter what they think of me, or I'm a friend of Bushy and Mike, everybody at that metal station, everybody at Cranium Radio. Um, so whoever wants to interview me, let me know. I'm always available for you. So thank you all to the fans that, listen to this podcast or watch the show, wherever it may be. So, you know, rock on.
Fuck yeah. So, Kevin, before we get out of here, we do this thing where we ask Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to promote?
Well, let me see. Let me see. What should I promote? Oh, um, well, if any of you, have a band that like, want me to know about, send it to me. If you want me to promote your band, send it to me. If you want to meet me in person, come down to Miami, do a show, or come meet me at the mall that I work at. I'm always, open to that. So,
You are always available, dude.
yeah. So, like, if you want to be, promoted, let me know. If you want to meet me in person, let me know. If you want a picture with me, let me know. If you want an autograph with me, let me know. I'm always around for you, the fans and the bands.
I love that it's the fans and the bands. Metal Mike, do you have anything to promote, or are we just going to get out of here?
You know what? Yeah, man. There was something I wanted to talk about real quick. I just got this CD. Now this is a band. They're part of the new wave of traditional metal, and like I said, I still love that stuff too. Even though I do like listen to a lot of thrash and extreme metal, I listen to all kinds of rock and metal. Uh, New band. In fact, I believe it was Dr. Fuck who turned me on to this band, Savage Master. They kind of got a whole medieval thing going on. This is their brand new album, just came out. Dark and dangerous. Really, really cool vibe. I mean, if you like that old school late 70s, early 80s metal, this is the band for you with a gal. She's got some killer pipes, man. Check it out, man.
Nice, nice. Well, since you did that, I'm just going to go with, man, the late, great Stevie Ray Vaughan, a double.
Nice.
The Sky is Crying, posthumous release. Man, The Sky is Crying is my all-time favorite fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan song. It will be featured on a future Black Spinner Circle. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
it's great, and also it features Life by the Drop, which is a beautiful acoustic blues song talking about Stevie Ray's fucking drug addiction and how they got over it. I'm telling you what, if you've never heard this album, fuck all that Texas Flood, fuck all that other shit. The Sky is Crying is the greatest Stevie Ray Vaughan album ever released, and unfortunately, posthumously after he passed away.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I was in high school, dude.
1992, same brother.
Yeah, I was
I mean,
because I had a buddy of mine who went to a show. He was gonna see Stevie Ray Vaughan. It was Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton, and Eric Clapton ended up keeping the date, and the whole thing was a tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan, man. But yeah, my buddy Derek, because he was really like, I like the blues too, but Derek was a huge blues fan, man. He's about like blues the way I am about metal, but yet we both respect, like, obviously I'm sitting there going, yeah, without the blues, there is no metal, right? And he respected, and he did like a lot of metal, but even Bildo, believe it or not, man, my co-host, the Metal Mike Show, is more of a blues guy than a metal guy, and that guy loves his fucking metal. I mean, his two favorite artists of all time is Eric Clapton and Metallica.
yeah, it should be Stevie Ray and BB King, but whatever, whatever.
Well, he loves those guys too, man.
All right, let's get out of here. Kevin, we always give our guests a chance to give their final thoughts. So, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Warhaft, final thoughts.
My final thoughts is you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for this interview. I want to thank all my fans around the world, all the bands that I met, all the clubs that I've been to. Without all of you, I am nothing. So thank you so much for this interview. And keep it rocking, keep it metal.
Hell yeah. Metal Mike.
Keep fighting the good fight and stay metal to your fucking dying breath.
That's right, motherfuckers. Buy vinyl. We'll see you next time.